On. What up, Cowboy Nation? This is your boy, Cowboy Jeff Freeman, along with my partner, Gil Johnson. And this is the Big Sports Talk podcast where we're talking about Cowboy football, something that
Get it,
we
dig it.
know and love.
Yes, sir.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. This is episode 1, and this is going to be big, man, because we're going to talk about America's team and all the things that come with the NFL draft. But before we get into that, I just want, how you doing today, brother Gil? What's going on, man?
Hey, man, I'm just living life. I'm enjoying myself. I'm excited and happy to get to this draft. I know it's going to be some big moves made. I know Dallas is going to shake some things up in a regular kind of way. So I can't wait to see what they do draft day and what type of talent they bring to the team.
Yeah, man, this is like, to me, this is like Christmas in April. It could either be Christmas in April or it could be a nightmare on Elm Street. When it comes to the NFL draft, man, that 12 pick, hey, they got to get it right, man. They got to get it right, Gil. Before we get into the NFL draft, I wanted to talk about all the changes that we had in this past season, man. It was a rough season last year, Gil, and it was painful to watch. We had Dak go down. We had Trayvon Diggs go down. We had Mario Overshawn go down. And, man, it was just a rough way to go. Got a new coach. Not really a new coach, but a new philosophy with Brian Schottenheimer, and you got Matt Eberflus, and you got new offensive line coaches that's come in. And so it's going to be a new philosophy of football. It looked like in the offseason what they've been doing, been trying to gear up. A lot of free agent offensive line. We got like 14 offensive linemen on our roster right now. With the offensive linemen, we got a couple of free agent running backs. We got Javonte Williams from Denver, Miles Sanders from Carolina. What are as far as the way that they've been handling the offseason, what are your thoughts, Gil?
Man, simply put, man, when it's a new sheriff in town, you got new coaches, you got new philosophies. The first thing is, coaches report, they get together and they put a plan, a cohesive plan as to what they see this team as, okay, and what they're trying to take it to, which is obviously the win a championship to break this 30-year drought that's been going on in Dallas for whatever reason. But I think, again, like I said, the draft is where we're going to get like a sneak peek into what side of the ball and what type of direction they want to take this team. Without question, last season was a relative disappointment to go 3 years, 12-5 under McCarthy, to have, Pro Bowlers, to have career seasons, to have, breakout years, for star players on our team, but yet for it to continuously come up short when it matters most in the postseason. So, me as a true Dallas Cowboy fan, the first thing I have to do is I have to reset my expectations, right? I have to throw out everything that's been done in the past with this roster and this team, and I have to wait and see what the coaches deem acceptable for this new generation and this new team. As anything, most coaches like to, if you're worth your weight in salt, you say, if I'm gonna take this job, I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna bring in my guys. I'm gonna bring in my pieces and what I think works for the team that I'm trying to build. So my eyes tell me, it's a reset coming in some form or some way. Okay. But we'll get to see what the priority is, whether it's the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball going into the 2025-2026 season. So I did a little research on the OC from Arizona. We know Brian, we know his father, what he did in Washington and in San Diego. As far as the Chicago former head coach, I'm not too impressed with him, but you got Micah Parsons on this roster. You got, some pieces on the defensive side. Overshown definitely showed flashes of being a star linebacker. You got Sam returning from injury. So, there's pieces there, but it's just how do you build on that and develop a roster worthy of advancing at bare minimum to semifinals and then ultimately to the NFC Conference Championship?
Hey, you said something that really stood out to me. What you was just talking about, man. You tempering your expectations on the season as far as how this team is going to do. As we know, our fan base, they don't have a lot. They don't have a lot of patience. I'm just asking you this question, man. We know it's a new regime. It's going to be new players. Realistically, most teams historically, they're not going to the Super Bowl in the first year. In your opinion, what do you consider a successful season for the Cowboys?
I love football. Cowboys, my number one football team. I don't have any B teams, side teams, nothing. It's Cowboys and nothing. Just like any team, a new head coach, if he doesn't inherit talent, the first thing he's trying to do is to build a culture that surrounds his mind state and his type of thinking, right? So your first job is to kind of get in there and talk to the veterans and see what works for them, what didn't work for them, how they like to get things going, and then you're going to surround them with young, new talent that operates the same way the head coach intends them to do so. So for the Cowboys, right, I think we got to kind of peel this layer back for a second and take a look at the picture of what hasn't been working for them over, let's say, the last 10 years. Okay. So we're known for, the star on the helmet, for blockbuster, to be considered, talked about negatively in the media on a regular basis. I think that's really the piece for the fans, because we're not in love with this team and want the team to be successful. I think we're just so agitated by mainstream media with Shannon Sharp or Stephen A. Smith or anybody to just, Shady McCoy or any of those other folks that like to trigger the fan base. They only do that because they know this is one of the largest fan base in football. Like football is football. It's not that deep, but they take it to a level of like, I'm gonna just, y'all lose, but y'all suck. And I'm like, you can't suck if you've been consistent in progress and progressing year after year, even though you haven't won in the Super Bowl. To say that the team is bad that's a false statement. Okay, was there mistakes? Were there coaching errors? Did things not plan out or work the way that they should? Yes, but you got to give. You have to put the right pieces in place, and you have to find the right people that can lead a team, because it all can't come from the head coach. You got to have guys in the locker room that can be on the field coaches to kind of push people through to be better than what they are. And I think in football, a lot of that comes down to, okay, let's step back from the emotional trash talking, this, that, and the third. It's like, okay, you hit somebody in the mouth a number of times, all that talking stops. And I think that's the mindset that I think the Cowboys need to get back to when they had it in the 90s. But of course, like I said, we have to temper, we got to rewind, we got to reset, we got to treat each new season as, okay, especially now with the new coach and new everything, we have to kind of go back to square one. So I get it, we're coming off of 4 or 5 years of, 12-5, 2 in the NFC, playoff appearance. It kind of spoils you. I get it, but I wouldn't be disappointed if they pulled a reset. They just do it now. Just get younger and stay competitive.
That's good. You made some good points on that. One of the things that we've been hearing a lot about is how the culture is changing in Dallas. Schottenheimer, these players are starting to believe in him. And that's the thing. We got away from the culture of winning and having leaders in that locker room. And Shotty, he's starting to bring that culture around. So moving forward, the personnel that they're bringing in, they brought in quite a bit of offensive linemen, cornerback, few running backs. They've been bringing in guys that don't really jump off the page. But one thing I like about it is that they're creating competition at these positions. And so it's going to be the best man, the last man standing when it's time to suit up on Sunday. And I really love what they're doing with these players that they're bringing in. Most of these guys are veterans. They're proven vets. These guys still got some tread on the tires, and that's what we need to do, create that environment of competition.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the point of having veterans on your team. One of the ones I was actually sad we weren't able to re-sign was Stephon Gilmore. Like me personally, I feel like that changed.
They brought him in. Hey, they brought him in. He was in the building today. I was listening to 105.3 The Fan. They brought him in the building today, bro.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Having a guy like that who understands championship football, that everybody like, man, he's old. I'm like, this isn't just about his ability on the field. This is the mental toughness of, we're not gonna stop until the clock hits zero. We're gonna keep playing, we're gonna keep fighting, we're gonna keep hitting, we're gonna turn up until it's over with, and then we'll be like, okay, we gave it our all, instead of deflating because things get difficult or because the media has been pushing this narrative all week. So I really hope he's able to come back and address that secondary. Like I said, this is more about rebuilding a culture and bringing in newer and younger guys, because again, like I said, my expectations have reset. The entire division is, the Eagles, for whatever reason, were able to secure Saquon for a bag of chips, some cigarettes, and some Funyuns.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Then they flipped that Carson Wentz trade to the Colts into like 7 players. Sometimes things like that happen, and you can see the results. They went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So this is our week. This is, like I said, this is like Christmas in April for every team.
Everything.
And let me tell you, if you've never had the opportunity to go to an NFL draft, not just as a Cowboys fan, but as an NFL fan, you got to put that on your bucket list and go. I've been to several, and I'm going to tell you, it's just like a big party out there, man. Everybody's representing their team. It's a lot of trash talk. It's definitely a good environment to be in. And if you love your team, you can see a lot of those players firsthand before they even get picked, and meet some of these guys. And it's just a good thing to be a part of. You got to put that on your bucket list. But with that being said, Gil, this 2 days, okay, we got 2 days, and man, they got to get this one right. We've been seeing a lot of mock drafts. I'm kind of mocked out because, we've been seeing a lot of mock drafts, and everybody, the popular names, Genty, you hear the Tat McMillans, you hear, Matthew Golden recently. You've been hearing a lot of skill player positions. But guess what? Cowboy Nation, you might not like this, but in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be a skill position. Guess what it's going to be? It's going to be somebody on that, either on that offensive line, or if one of those guys that, I know they Matthew Golden, he had talked to Jerry Jones, and Jerry talked to his mom and everything. They really high on him. But I think, man, because Zach Martin left, I think they're leaning toward, and then they just brought Tyler Booker in last night,
Yep.
To the 30, the pre-draft 30, man. I think they kind of showed their card, and it looks like it may be an offensive line. See, because right at that position at 12, it has to be, no ifs, ands, or buts, a day one starter. I don't care what they draft. Long as they draft a day one starter, that's a good day for me. And then also, a lot of people fail to realize, some years back, I'm a little older, but from years back, the draft used to be 12 rounds. So used to be draft lasts a whole week. And you had it's so much talent out there, man. So just think of it like this. Today's second round pick will be the first round pick. Like back then, your third round picks will be your second rounds, your fourth round pick. So it's plenty of talent out there. Don't get frustrated and get upset if you don't see your guy go in that first pick. That first pick might be an offensive lineman. And guess what? That second pick might not be a running back. It might be somebody else. That third pick might not be a running back or a receiver. I would like to be a receiver in the second, maybe third or second pick. But if not, oh well. It's a lot of talent out there, man. Okay, Gil. You in the war room. You at the Star. You Jerry Jones. You Stephen Jones. You with Stephen Jones. You with Will McClay.
Yeah. Put me next to Will.
Hey, say the little the
Yeah,
12th pick. Who are you? Who or what position are you picking at 12?
So for me, who I'm picking at 12, like I said, we've gone mock draft crazy. We looked at the stats. We looked at players coming out of college. I'm sincerely hoping Jalen Walker is still on the board by the time 12 comes around. Either Jalen
Okay.
Walker, okay, all right, or what's my guy's name? The Missouri offensive tackle, Armand Mimbu. I believe I'm pronouncing
Mimbu. Oh, yeah.
it. Mimbu.
Yeah,
Mimbu.
he's a mauler.
That's the pocket I'm in right now. I'm going Mimbu,
You can't
right?
lose.
Even though he may not make it out the top 10, or I'm looking for Jalen. And then my sneaky pick would be Mike Green from Marshall. Okay. I am
Right. He's been kind of falling off though, man. He's been kind of I don't know if not falling off per se, but
his
I
stock
haven't really
value
been
dropped.
hearing that name anymore.
That's listen, hear me, okay? I don't believe in the circus of the draft, okay? That doesn't equate to like how good of a football player you are. I look for players that actually for me that makes it more of a jewel of a find when you put a chip on a guy's shoulder because he feels slighted. But I know we're gonna have some falls and we're gonna have some drops.
Hopefully,
I'm really focused on those first 5 picks because I'm curious to see who drafts what because nobody is 100% in on what their pick is going to be. That like every time I refresh and I relook, initially it's like okay, Cam going number 1, Abdul's going number 2, and I checked today. They said instead of getting Abdul for Cleveland, it could be Travis Hunter, which would make Abdul be number 1 on the board for the Giants, which again would shuffle down, and then some major talent's going to be shaken down to the bottom of the 10. So I'm really in my head. I'm either going D-line because we re-signed Fowler, OC, and then you got Micah, and we need another presence. We need another young guy that can make plays and be impactful, that can get after the quarterback as we're trying to build this defensive line. I mean, I'm assuming we're running a 4-3, but I just need Dallas to get back to the days of we can stop the run. I need you to move some weight, okay? Get in that gym, and when it's time,
we definitely need a one technique. We definitely need a one technique, man. But I don't know if they're gonna try to do that at 12. But it would be nice if they would address that. What's been great, Cowboy Nation. We did a short segment today, but catch us every week, man. We're gonna be talking Cowboy football, what we know and love. Cowboy Nation. Cowboy Nation, we are off.